morning. Eight o'clock in the morning and 80 degrees out. Sounds good. Just made contact this morning with some relatives who live on the west coast of Florida. They had no power for 2 days. And they've had no cell phone service for 2 days. Verizon got them restored this morning. And at 8 o'clock, well, 7:30, I texted and they responded. More traffic on the road than usual, not as usual, but more than the last 2 days. My car creeping, but beautiful day. You would never know a freaking hurricane came through 2 days ago. I'm in Fort Lauderdale, so minimal damage over here. We had some wind, but not really what we expected. The West, they keep saying the West Coast could have been worse, because it seems like the hurricane fell apart at the last moment. The eye collapsed, and you could see that on the radar as it was moving towards the coast. If you look at the radar, the moisture radar, part of the eye wall had disappeared. You only had 3/4 of an eye, and that really weakened the storm. It didn't allow the bands to wrap around. So a lot of the west, north, they didn't wrap around and come back around. So the people to the north got a lot of rain. Got a lot of rain and a lot of wind. And where it came ashore, I think they said it was Sarasota area. And the Outer Banks. I think a conversation has to be had. And of course, no one will ever talk about it because they say it's too late. But Florida, and like other places like Massachusetts and or South Carolina, you get the Outer Banks. You have this. They've allowed people to build all along the coastlines of our country. They've let them build in basically these remote areas. I mean, Hello, Benjamin. But if you look at a map of Florida, and I know nobody wants to have the conversation, but especially on the West Coast, south of Tampa, when you get into St. Pete and head south, sorry, I keep getting disconnected. But there's a lot of these little barrier islands. Siesta Key. I mean, that is an island that is only accessible by one bridge, and they have no seawall, no nothing. So if there's a storm surge, there's nothing to there's just nothing to stop. Like, there's just nothing you can do. You know, certain areas, certain places like seawalls, they're hardly anything. They're like 2 or 3 feet high. I don't know what they're gonna stop, but at least, yeah, that's a little bit of a canopy. It's pretty and all that, right? But when we have a hurricane, when we have when they come down from a storm, it it impedes the road. Picking my buddy up, I take him to work, so our conversation may change a little bit. Oh, that's awesome, Unstoppable. Thanks, man. Where are you from? Sorry, I had to text him that I was here. Oh, you're from Florida too? Cool. I'm from Fort Lauderdale. I always laugh. We have this. We have our landscaping code. You got to have a bunch of trees in your front lawn. Everything got to look great. And then when if a hurricane comes, everything freaking breaks loose. Everything fall on the ground. But like I was saying, Fort Lauderdale, we escaped. They were anticipating more wind and more rain, and we hardly got anything. And that's because the Hurricane I. Like if you watch a time lapse of the hurricane, and you do the water vapor one where it shows you just not the clouds, but it shows you like the moisture, right? The lower, if you're looking at the round eye, the bottom section of it fell apart, and the storm didn't wrap around.
Good morning, buddy.
What's going on, man?
How you doing?
Good. What's wrong with you? I didn't think I was gonna be able to take you this morning.
What happened?
Well, because we got a therapist on vacation.
Oh no.
So they asked me to see some of her patients.
Oh no.
And I went there on Wednesday to see when you gotta get your patients in the morning.
Yeah.
That's why I go to work I go to work early.
Yeah. Mind if I put this here?
Oh, go ahead.
Thanks.
Go
ahead, I'm listening to you. I'm sorry. I'm gonna see him in the morning. Oh, you were done? Sorry.
No, it's like you gotta see him in the morning. If not, do anything. How's work?
It's not going so well right now.
This week? Kind of hard?
This week's hard. The guy he says if I don't pick it up, I'll be gone November 15th. I gotta pick it up, but it's hard.
This is what he said to you?
Yeah.
You were just the employee of the month.
I know, but you can only do so well without doing so well, son.
Whatever, it may work out.
Yeah, man.
I just hate
I might pick up my production.
I just
might
hate when
not.
people talk like that.
Yeah. Well, he's not wrong. If I'm not producing, hello. If I'm not producing and I'm not making money, it can't keep me forever. You know.
How are the other people doing?
Some people are struggling and some people are doing well. But I talked to him. I said, "Hey, I'm trying. I've revised my pitch like 6 times." I said there were a couple of times where I said transfers, they just didn't qualify because the debt was too low or the person hung up. So it wasn't like I wasn't pitching anybody all day. And he says, I know. He says you got to pick it up. So I was like, I know.
That's tough.
He was a nice guy.
Yeah, no, listen.
He appreciates me and everything, but
No,
you can't just sit there and not produce. I haven't produced anything this week, and before I was producing very little. So
I think it's just it's just sales in general, right?
yeah,
You're just as good. You're as good as your last sale. It's like Laura's place is the same place, same thing. You're trying to bring people in.
yeah,
And if you have 10 people that come in on tours,
yeah,
they want all 10.
yeah,
But they also have a certain amount that they would like,
yeah. But there's a variable is, there's some things you can't control with sales. So I said, I'm going to try my best and let the chips fall as they may. But I'm going to do my best.
Yeah, you
So I
can
told
get.
him,
So if you get you can't help it. If you get
Yeah.
transfers, but they don't qualify or this or that.
Yeah, it's like that's out of my control.
Yeah. There's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah. So we'll see. Hopefully it picks up today, and if it doesn't pick up today, hopefully it starts to pick up next week. Can't have 2 weeks in a row without a deal, and then the writing's really on the wall. So I gotta figure it out. But like I said, right now there's not a lot in my control. So
Yeah.
you can change your pitch a million times if they,
Well,
you're not running into people that are interested. It don't fucking matter what you say or how you say it or whatever, But,
Sorry. Well, at least he said November 15th.
yeah.
He
He
didn't-
didn't say this week.
Yeah.
I think that was gracious of him. And that gives me an opportunity to pick things up. I mean, I'm not totally canned yet. We'll see if I can produce something.
See,
I
that's
don't think
also-
I will, but you never know.
It just shows you too that when things are going well,
Yeah.
you got to save your money.
Yeah.
You can't like all of a sudden decide, oh, I got money,
Yeah.
so let's go out and have this. Let's go have
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
let's and it's hard, right?
Yeah.
I'm not taking the bus that much. I'm taking lifts all the time, and you're spending a lot of money on that,
Yeah. I've saved like $300, and then I paid Dad like $500 in rent, and then I paid him like $400 in back rent, and then I saved like $300.
So you're catching up.
So I'm trying to save my checks, and I got a $500. No, I got a $450 check. So
Did you get paid today?
yeah,
You get paid every week?
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but it's a week behind. So next week is going to be a shitty paycheck. One, because...
But you still get a check every week.
Yeah.
See, I got to wait every 2 weeks.
Yeah, that
That's a
sucks.
pain in the ass.
I know, it sucks.
And my wife
But
gets-
then when you get your check, it's double, so it's just kind of like a weird feeling. I've
Yeah,
had that
but-
happen.
It's a weird feeling, but you know what the problem is?
You spend it. Yeah. I
You're
know.
all the bills you have,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Like, I remember I was living in Vermont, and I was getting like $600 a week, but I got it paid every 2 weeks, so every 2 weeks I get like a $1,200 direct deposit.
My wife and I both got paid today,
Yeah.
right? And you know how much money I just paid this morning out in bills?
Probably all of it.
$2,700.
Jesus Christ.
My wife got her paycheck.
Yeah.
I got my paycheck,
Yeah.
and 50% of it just went.
To bills.
That's right.
Yeah. No, I get it.
$2,700. I paid. I pay my mortgage bi-weekly,
Yeah.
which means half of it comes out every 2 weeks. Because I couldn't stand getting whacked
Yeah.
writing that $2,300 check at the end of every month.
Right.
So they take half out each. So that went out. Then I had to make the car payment. That was $700. That went out. So that's $1,700.
Yeah.
And then I owed a.
No, it goes quick. They all pile up. I think like my first check, I had all my expenses at once. I think I was left with like $20 by the time I got my check.
Yeah.
But,
No, I didn't get a solar storm.
But this week is not a great check. But I could save $100 for myself. $100.
Well, it's not
for
a great
rent.
check because you don't get the you don't get any bonuses, right? It's just
I
a
got
straight
one,
check.
I got one bonus. This is from last week, but I save $100 for me. Pay $100 in rent. Give Dad $100 and back to rent, and then I keep the $100 in my account in case I need it.
How many people work at the place?
I don't know, like 11 or 12 people.
Huh?
11 or 12 people. But next week's check is gonna be really bad. One, because well, knock on wood, but I'm assuming that I'm not going to get any deals. Maybe I get one today, hopefully, it'd be nice. But let's just say, for conversation purpose, I don't get any deals. I won't get any commission.
Yeah.
Then, one day, we left, they let us out an hour early. And then another day, we started work
Nice.
at 11.
Uh-huh.
So that's 2 hours early. And then Fridays we're out
But he said
an hour early.
when he says pick up production, I mean, did they give you a target? Did they say,
Yeah,
hey?
he wants me to get like 15 a month, but I got one this month. Last month I got 9, so I got to do better than the one I got this month. I don't even, best case scenario, I don't think I'm gonna get 15, but I don't want to land with one, So we'll see how that goes. But so I worked like 34 hours this week, and I got no commission. So next week's gonna be like a $300-something check.
And it's just you get paid. You don't get paid hourly, right?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
It's $13 an hour. They just raised the minimum wage. It was when I started, it was $12.50, but
Okay.
they raised the minimum wage 50 cents. So it's $13 an hour, and then it's $30 per transfer.
Right.
And if you hit like a high number transfer, it depends on how high it is how much you get an extra tier. Like, remember that one time I got the 150 tier?
Yeah.
So there's that.
You hit the jackpot.
Yeah, and then there's you spin, and you spin the wheel, and it goes into a pot, and and then you got daily spiffs, but the job, you have to have 5 people have 5 transfers, and you got to hit like a certain number to get like 20 or 30 or 40 or $50 or something. And we haven't been hitting it because they're not getting like 5 transfers in a day because production's not been great. But there's opportunities, I guess, to make money.
No, there's great opportunity if you're productive, right?
Right.
And it's hard. I don't know very many sales that's like. So here's something that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
My wife's place, well, not her place, but the sister building.
Yeah.
They have a salary plus commission. Right.
Like us, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
But their salary is like $75,000 a year.
Well, that's a little $697.
No, it's like, so my wife's.
But it's still it was still a good check for me. But I was just saying
Yeah.
the contrast of all the taxes.
But here, and I'm going to show you. So where my wife works, their occupancy rate is like 75%.
Yeah.
So if you're doing sales and you're making $75,000 a year plus a commission, monthly commission.
Yeah.
But if you sign up 2 or 3 people, you can make a $3,000 commission check monthly.
Yeah, they got bonuses and shit.
But here's
at
the
our
problem
company, too.
with our other place.
Yeah.
They have a 95% occupancy.
Oh.
So what happens is, it's great, right?
Yeah.
95% occupancy.
Yeah.
But the salesperson, they're not making any big commission,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because
it's spread out, right?
if your occupancy is 95%,
Right.
you're basically 100. Normally, any place that says they're 100%, that means it's overcrowded.
Right.
95, anywhere in the 90s is great, but
Yeah.
so if you're someone who works off a commission,
Yeah.
you may not get anyone in this month
Right.
because you got nowhere to put them.
Right.
Right? So next thing you know, and it's happened, right? And when people make money, when we make money,
Yeah.
we find a way to spend every dime of it.
Right.
Right? I mean, it's earmarked for something, savings or this or that.
Right.
And then what happens is these salespeople, and I've seen it. I've seen it where they come in and make 75 grand, but they really need to make 90 to survive.
Right.
And then a month goes by and they don't have anyone coming in because they don't have any room to put people. So
I get the scenario.
So they quit.
Right.
They quit.
Oh, it happens all the time in telemarketing too.
I mean, they're making 75 grand, right? But
Right.
it's not enough for their lifestyle.
Right.
They might be a single mom with 2 kids,
Right.
and they need to make 100 grand just to survive.
Right. It's like that in telemarketing, but on a much smaller scale. But the concept is there.
Right. Everyone lives within their means.
Right. People will be here a month and they say, "Hey, I can't make $600 a week. I can't afford it," and then they just quit. So it's the same concept, it's just a smaller scale of money, but the idea is there.
That's why sometimes it's hard to have fun. Like I used to be uptight all the time because I'm the same way. I don't have a lot of. I have, like right now I've been really busy.
Yeah.
But there's times I go and I'm not busy at all. Like I don't, instead of having 30 visits this month, I only have 20.
I'm fortunate that I live with my dad, and because I can't live off of $450 a week at all.
It's very difficult.
It's impossible.
It's almost
difficult. It's impossible.
Is that considered? I don't even know.
That's poverty.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, it is.
Yeah. But
I don't care where you live.
Yeah. So unfortunate in that capacity. But let's say that you have a bad week and you make $400. You can't live off of that, but there's some variables you can't control. Like you can't force these people to buy it if they don't have it. Well, I mean, not buy it, but you can't force these people to restructure their debt that they don't have. You know what I mean? You can't force these people not to hang up on you.
A lot of it is the economy. A lot of it. Look, imagine.
I think the fucking hurricane was a big deal this week. That's why I didn't get shit.
Sure.
Part of the reason, anyway.
But you're trying to lower people's debt, right?
Right.
And some people are very skeptical about things. They're very skeptical.
They're very skeptical of anybody on the phone.
They're very,
Yeah, of course.
And it's imagine the car. Imagine a person who's a car salesman.
Yeah.
Right. All of a sudden, you're selling cars.
Yeah.
And people are financing them because they're 1 or 2% financing.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the interest rates go to 6 or 7%.
Yeah.
People stop buying.
Yeah.
Because that payment that would have been $400 a month. Can't afford that.
Right.
Or the people that they have no choice, they need a car. Like they have a car for crap, and they gotta buy a car.
Some people are like, it's cheaper to grab an Uber every day than making the car payments.
It is. Sometimes it is. It's. I tried to figure that out one day. I was like.
I mean, it's expensive taking an Uber every day. Don't get me wrong, but it's probably a little bit cheaper than paying car payments.
was trying to figure that out one day. I'm like, if I didn't have a car, could I survive? And you know what? A lot of people is, you want the freedom.
Right.
You know,
How long the bus is going to take, and it's the same thing
Or you
with
could just-
with the lift. You don't know the lift can't come right when you want it to come, and it can't leave right when you want it to leave. It's the guy's 10 minutes away, you know, or whatever. So, and like the bus, it's obviously the similar, you know. They have people, they make a stop every 5 minutes. You know, you can't be there at a certain time. And then the bus is later, the bus isn't here at a certain time. And it's, you know.
they're gonna be frustrated.
Yeah. But
But like I said, the flip or if you want that freedom,
yeah.
if you can go spend, like my wife does, $900 a month,
It's a lot of money.
just on $900 just on a car payment and insurance, and then you got to put gas in it.
Yeah.
And the gas is another $200 or $300
And then insurance.
well, the payment $675.
Yeah.
Insurance is $200.
Right.
That's $875.
Right.
And then you put $200 or $300 a month of gas.
Right.
Sometimes it's
Sometimes it's $1,000, huh?
yeah, well for the whole package.
Yeah.
But gas, cause we don't really travel.
A week.
Yeah.
You're making $1,200 a month, and you're spending $1,000 on the car.
So here's
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. But here's a rule of thumb, right?
Yeah.
This is the rule of thumb, and someone told me this when I was a young kid,
Yeah.
and I didn't listen, and I fell flat on my face.
Yeah.
When it comes to your expenses,
Yeah.
one check has to be able to cover almost all your expenses.
Yeah.
Like if your rent is $2,000 a month,
Yeah.
one check has to be able to cover that $2,000.
Right.
Everything else, forget everything else, right?
Right.
A car, payment, whatever.
Yeah.
They can come tow your car away and repossess it,
Right.
and you can still live.
Right.
But if they come and take your house or apartment, you
Yeah.
got a major problem.
Right.
So whatever your rent is, because I tried that one time. I said, well, I can take half from this check,
Right.
half from that check, and then I'll put it together,
Yeah.
and that'll pay my rent.
Yeah.
It never works. It never works
It's never
out.
exactly half.
Right. It never ever works
Right.
out.
Right.
So, and I remember that guy telling me. He goes, no. He goes, if you live with 3 people, roommates, and your half of the rent is $800.
Yeah.
He says one paycheck has to be able to cover that,
Right.
and then the rest is your discretionary money
Right.
to pay a credit card and do
Right.
something or buy food.
Right.
And you know what? He was right. He's been right.
But yeah, I'm gonna save my money for how long it lasts, and you know, if I'm unemployed again, at least I'll have some money saved up, and I'll pay some bills, I guess. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. I'm just taking it day by day. I have a job today. I have a job Monday.
You're gonna have a job for a while.
Well,
You said November 15th.
yeah,
You know, so you have time.
yeah,
You have time.
yeah.
At least it's not like the other places you worked at.
It was a week, and they didn't even tell me when they were.
It was so frustrating, man.
Yeah.
Like I get so frustrated with how they treat you.
Yeah, they treat you like shit.
You imagine I'm in a car. This guy's on a bike.
Yeah.
I passed him at the turnpike,
Yeah.
and now I'm trying to catch up to him. Look how
Yeah. And then he's really moving too.
he's moving, dude.
Yeah, he is moving. No, but they treat me really well here. But at the end of the day, it's
You're only as good as your last call, your last sale.
right.
And you can go from employee of the month to this,
Yeah.
or to a warning.
Right.
You know, so
Yeah.
it's tough.
Yeah. I'm happy I made it this far, though. You know.
But like
if I make it through the 15th, that'll be. Always humble myself when it comes to these times. To expect. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I'm gonna go every day, you know, try my best. Let the chips fall as they may, right?
And then
That's all you can do.
And then
You can't freak yourself out.
No.
It doesn't do you any good.
Listen, at least
you can't say, "Hey, I got to do this, this, and this," and if I don't get it, oh my God, it's just that doesn't do me any good.
And it's like when so like this hurricane, right?
Right.
My people were wondering, well, what are you worried about? And I go, well, for me, because I have hurricanes, right?
Yeah.
If I get hurricane damage,
Yeah.
I got to pay to fix the house.
Yeah.
And you have a hurricane deductible, right?
Yeah.
So if they give you, if you got $20,000 worth of damage, $4,000 of it comes right off the top because of my deductible.
Right.
So even if they pay, even if they write you a check, so for
you doing that, it's just like
on the
don't
second,
do that.
Did I pass your?
Yeah, it's on the other side.
Oh, it's right there.
Yeah.
I'm busy talking.
It's just like Tua. Tua went head first to try to make the first down, and I'm like, I like the guts, and I like the toughness, but it wasn't you didn't have to risk your season for a first down.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with Barkov. I get you win there, you got your toughness, you're trying to prevent the goal. Let the goal score. It's not the goal is not worth your season. It's not worth it for the team. It's not worth it for anybody.
Not the second game
Right.
of the season.
Right.
So I heard someone say, "Oh, it's bad.
Yeah.
And then I heard someone say, "No, he's coming off the ice." But I'm like, I don't know.
It wasn't good.
You don't want Barkov, or you don't want any of the players doing that.
Yeah. And that's why people love him. That's why he's the captain. That's why he's the team. But you got to be smart.
That's why they consider him one of the best players in the league.
Yeah. You got to be smart though. My Bruins won. We finally got a win.
Well, they've only played how many games?
2.
Oh, okay.
You beat us the first game.
It's not like they're on like a 5-game losing streak or something.
No.
It's funny. I was looking at some of the predictions.
Yeah.
They don't even have them like very. They don't have them really. Like.
I know.
There's not a lot of expectations out of them.
And it's been like that the last 5 years, and they've had 5 great seasons. I don't get it. So I was like, just let the prognosticators project them low, because they always have
the
great
guy
seasons.
from me as
when
PM was chewing them up, man.
Which one?
Mark Messier and PK Sedan.
Oh yeah, well PK Sedan doesn't like him because he played for the Canadiens and their rivals.
But you know what? I tend to listen to former players,
right?
And what Messier and them, because they understand, and they were like giving them a bunch of
cute.
They were giving them like a bunch of crap because they're like, wait a minute, this team.
Yeah. What are they saying?
They're gigantic players. They're all like 6'2", 6'3", and he says they're out there with the Panthers, trying to play like a finesse game.
Yeah.
He goes,
I don't know what the hell they're doing.
He says when you're 6'2", 6'3", he says you can't be like cutesy hottie.
Yeah, I know.
You got to be like, remember when Philly? You remember when Philly had Eric Lindros?
Yeah.
And was it Claire?
Yeah.
They mauled you.
Yeah.
Because they were so big.
They were having that issue in the second game. They won, but they were bitching about. I was listening to them on the Bruins radio, and they were
I gotta go to work.
And they were saying how they were giving up goals at the nets, and that they were big, and they shouldn't give up those goals at the net.
No, you can't. You can't let that.
They say they might be an issue. I'll see you later, Joe.
All right, bud. I'll talk to you later.
I already paid you the $10, right? Okay, we're good.
Talk to you later. God, he slams my. He's gonna break my window. I swear to God. All right. I gotta go to work. Nice talking. I gotta time it, right? You heard me talking. I got people. I gotta get them while they're still at breakfast. If I allow them to get out of breakfast and walk back to their rooms, they're not coming back. That's the end of the line. No, but I remember, you know, you heard us talking, but my my mentality has changed. I mean, when I had a car, when I had my cars in the past, I had a lot of sports cars. I had a Mustang GT, I had a Camaro, then I went to pickup trucks, and now my mentality's changed. I when I'm not doing my therapy thing, I drive Lyft, I drive Uber, and I have a minivan. And I got the minivan because my mother-in-law passed away, so we kind of inherited the minivan, and I had a pickup truck at the time. But my minivan, it made me money. It made money. I could do Uber and Lyft, and it just wasn't the X rides. I was doing the XL, which means you carry more people. You can carry, like, if you call for an Uber or Lyft and they send a regular car, you're supposed to only be able to take 3 people. You only can take 3 people, up to 3 people. Anything over 3 people, they have to carry an XL. You have to get an XL. And when you do airport rides, a lot of people they used to have a lot of luggage. Now people carry kind of like a backpack, or a backpack and one piece of luggage. Because now they charge people. Back a few years ago, shoot, man, you'd have 3 people and they'd have 10 pieces of luggage. Each person had like 3 pieces of luggage, and it was difficult to fit everything in the car. So I have a minivan, and basically the other day I took someone to the cruise port from their hotel, and I saved them money because they were going to have to have 2 vehicles, and I was able to put them all in one. I had someone next to me, 2 people in back of me, and then the third row I had 1 person, and I put the 1 seat down, and I fit all their luggage in the car. They were thrilled. They were thrilled not only that they could all ride together, but also they didn't need 2 cars. And I was happy for them. It was just the look on their face. They were so happy. But my mentality has changed, right? When I go to buy a car, my wife asks me, what type of car are you going to get when you have to buy a car? And I said, probably another minivan. I'm 57 years old, and I don't want a Corvette. I don't want a Camaro. I'm getting another minivan. And she was like, why? I'm like, because I make money. I make money with it. I drive Uber and Lyft. You could easily, if someone says, well, I can't afford a car payment, yeah, you can. Absolutely. Because with my minivan, I made $400 in one day. $400 in one day. And I only drove from 8 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And it wasn't a hard day. It was just picking people up, driving them around. I had a couple bonus opportunities, high traffic areas, you get an extra bonus. Or you do 3, they give you like incentives, like if you do 3 rides in a row without canceling, without signing off, we'll give you an $18 bonus. So you do 3 rides, you get an $18 bonus plus whatever you got for the rides. And like 3 hours, Sometimes you can make that bonus and that money in an hour. And I think, and then Lyft offers you the opportunity. You can go on, if people schedule rides, you can pick up a ride. You can say, okay, I'll do this one. It's going to pay me $10. This one's just $12. You know, there was someone, it must have been a student, a college student who booked a ride, wanted a ride, put a schedule out there from Davie, Florida, Nova Southeastern dorms, to Orlando Airport. For me, that's like a 3-hour drive. And I was, my cut on that ride was gonna be like $250. And that sounds great and everything, but then, you know, it's like a trucker, right? You never want to be empty. You know, if you're driving. So that's like my mentality now. It's like I'm looking for a car that I can make money. My minivan right now has been giving me some problems. I haven't done a lot of rides. I gotta make a decision on how I wanna. It's crazy. It's like my car needs probably about $5,000 put into it. It needs a paint job, and it needs a transmission, and I have some oil leaks I got to get taken care of. And it's like, do I put the $4,000 or $5,000 into it, or do I? I mean, it needs a paint job if I'm going to continue to do Lyft. But do I put the money into it, or do I just buy another car? I don't know. Sometimes they give you these deals where there's zero money down. You have a good credit, you sign and drive. You walk in, they tell you your payment's $350. You sign the papers and you sign and drive. Headed to work. Gotta see my peeps. Hopefully they're still at breakfast. Anybody in the chat? But I've made my life a little bit cheaper. I've changed my cell phone carrier. A lot of people don't like to do that, but I used to there used to be, I remember before all the expensive phones, you could sign a contract with the carrier and they give you a free phone. T-Mobile, sign a 2-year contract, you get a free phone. And then all these fancy phones came out. I don't think they do that anymore. But I don't get phone specific.